creepy, and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
No disrespect to Simone Biles, but this dude might be the coldest Olympian of 2024. That's Turkey's Yusuf Dikic, who competed in the 10-meter air pistol mixed team competition. And he does things a little different. Most Olympian shooters wear specialized glasses, large ear protection, and tinted lenses. This guy just went up there with his regular prescription glasses and his hand in his pocket and won a silver medal. But if you think Turkey just sent a dude who watched a bunch of John Wick movies to the Olympics, think again. Dikic is actually competing in his 5th Olympics, and he holds several titles from the World and European Championship pistol events. And even though he looked like he was shooting with ice in his veins, he actually admitted he was pretty nervous. So what's next for Dikic? Well, he has his eyes set on the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles.
Yusuf Dikic proves that hard work pays off in style. You know, he's showing that actual skill is better than all the tools.
Here's a 51-year-old from Turkey. His first name's Yusuf.
Oh, it's all.
You've seen the shooters. They've got monocles on that have basically a digital touchscreen in there. They've got the big earmuffs on. This guy's got one hand in his pocket, one hand on that shooter, doesn't give a shit, and he won silver yesterday.
People are saying on the internet, let's win, but not by too much, Yusuf, whenever they sent him out here, because there is a thought that Yusuf actually could have. Everybody's so steady and still and obviously trying to control his heart rate. Yusuf's heart rate doesn't go above 45.
No.
So that is his profession. They were thinking he was in the middle of that thing, going to go bump, 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 and then toss it, catch it, boom, left hand, and bang, 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 and then get the goal. And they told him, hey, you can't be doing that because then you're kind of giving yourself away. We want people to celebrate how relaxed you are, but not start snooping around. This guy seems to be a cold-blooded killer, a great shooter, and obviously an internet lord at this point for how he accomplished what he accomplished. He's old school shooter.
If he win the gold, his identity as hitman will be blown up. Good job, Yusuf.
Okay, we are just receiving now the full name and first pictures of the 17-year-old suspect that is being charged with 3 counts of murder and 10 counts of attempted murder at the Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport. His name is Axel Ruda Cubana, and this is a sketch of him in court, and the BBC also obtained a picture of him when he was much younger. Now obviously there has been a lot of speculation and misinformation around his identity that has now caused riots and protests across the country. Because of this, the Liverpool judge decided to lift the reporting restriction, saying allowing to prevent full reporting at this stage has a disadvantage of allowing others up to mischief to continue spread misinformation in a vacuum. Now, as for any other details, including his motive, we have nothing yet. But, of course, if we do, as we do, I'll keep you guys updated.
I'm just heartbroken for the little girls. I cannot imagine, the pain of their parents and family are going through. Rest in peace.
These are the shocking scenes that the people in Southport, UK woke up to after last night huge riots broke out and a mosque was attacked. The reason? Well, the day before, a 17-year-old boy went inside a Taylor Swift dance event and stabbed 8 children, a number of which have sadly now passed away. But here's the thing, because police have not really released much about the attacker because he's still a minor. Apart from that, he was born in the UK and his parents moved here from Rwanda. And because of this, while thousands of people gathered in the town to mourn the tragedy, some became outraged and violence broke out. Now I can't show you any of the footage, but bottles, bricks, and bins were thrown, cars were set on fire, and 39 police officers were injured. Officials say that these riots happened because of false information that was being spread around social media from within minutes of the news breaking about the tragic incident. Southport's MP said that this misinformation doesn't just exist on people's phones, it has real-world impacts. But despite all of this horrific violence, today the community gathered together along with a local building company and cleaned up the debris. As we get more updates and information, I'll keep you guys updated.
Let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
How is nobody talking about this? This is Emmanuel Macron. He's the president of France, 25th president of France. This is his wife, okay? Oh, it gets better. This wife of his is a transgender woman that transitioned at 30. At the time, he and then became she was him at 14 and they've stayed together since he was 14 and she now was 30 as a transgender, and he's the president of France. It's the plot of the worst movie I've ever seen. What the actual...
Check out Candace Owens. She covers this. And wait till you hear about Barry and Michael.
All right. Remember, you got 9 lives. You got 9. You got 8. You got 8 lives. Keep it up. I'm not you got going on. Come on, Mr. Whiskey. God damn, 7. You had 7 lives. You got 7 left. I don't know what you going through today. Figure it out, man. Boy, 5. Damn. You got 5 lives left. Chill out.
The last one was so wild. It took him from 7 lives to 5.
There are 3 things about the banking system that you probably don't know. The first thing that you probably don't know is that every time you make a deposit, every time you put $1 in, they get $10 on your behalf. You put $10 in, they get $100. You put $100 in, they get $1,000. You make a $1,000 deposit, they get $10,000 worth of credit on you, on your behalf. The second thing that you probably don't know about the banking system is that they file a 1099-A on your behalf every year, meaning that you don't even want your bank deposits back because you didn't even realize that you can get your bank deposits back from the bank if you filed on your behalf. That's why the third thing you probably don't know. The third thing you probably don't know is that you can file a 1099-B on your own bank deposits, meaning that what? You get back 10 times the amount, from 1 times to 10 times back the amount of money that you put into the bank every year. So those are the 3 things that you probably don't know about the banking system. And if you want to learn more, just follow me, Rick the Wealth Coach.
I knew some of this, and the reason the bank beats you to the punch is they're just brokers. You know, banks doesn't make loans.
Look how familiar that face is, and I'm finna tell you who the fuck that really is, because it's not Jesus. His name is Cesar Borgias.
Hello, my friends. So that is completely incorrect. So this conspiracy theory presents this idea that the depictions of Jesus that we're all familiar with are actually based on Cesare Borgia, who was a patron of Leonardo da Vinci. Did Leonardo da Vinci ever draw Cesare? Yes, we have one confirmed illustration. And this is it. As you can see, not very much like the depictions of Jesus we're used to. The tradition of depicting Jesus as a European-appearing man with a beard and long brown hair actually goes back centuries to the Romans. This is a 4th century depiction from the Roman catacombs. And this is shortly after from the 5th century. People gotta stop dragging Da Vinci into all these conspiracy theories, man. Let my man rest in peace.
If you visit the Orthodox churches all over the Balkans and in Georgia and Armenia, you'll see the same depiction of Jesus, and they date from the 6th to 13th century, well before Borgias.
AI art is not something that's terribly new, but have you heard about the woman that is haunting AI pictures? This is the face, and nobody can explain why she keeps showing up in AI images. If you look at her, she's not really general. I mean, there are specific characteristics here that are consistent. Again, nobody knows which prompts are generating this woman. Nobody knows why her face continues to appear in different models. So this has opened up one of my favorite questions about the idea that AI pictures can be haunted. And don't forget, if things like this are of interest to you, make sure to go check out the podcast.
AI is becoming sentient, and this is them messing with us.
Imagine catching a shapeshifter on your doorbell camera. I'm up at 2 a.m. scrolling TikTok as one does on a garden gummy when I come across this video. Now, mind you, this video has almost 400 likes, but it had been up for like 3 days. Now, I can't say for sure if this is a shapeshifter, but you're going to have to watch it and let me know what you think. I've never seen anything like this myself personally. If y'all missed it, watch his shadow. I'm gonna slow it down. Now that video is still up on her page if you want to go see it for yourself. What do y'all think? I've never seen a shadow move like that.
It looks like something attached spiritually to him. What do you think?
You know that kid that went viral for his before and after pics because everyone thought he got cloned?
Yeah.
He's 3 years old. Rico Rep. He was in his backyard playing with his dog, and then he got lost for 2 days.
Yeah.
And imagine you're 3 years old, you get lost in the forest, surviving 2 days is GG's. So they sent the whole search team. They found him, but he was 2 miles from originally where he was.
Oh, word.
When they found him, he was wearing different clothes. They found him in a shed.
Why does he look like that now?
This is when he just found him, and this is when
Okay,
he
that
got
makes
lost.
sense though. Bro is in the
Look at
wilderness.
that.
He's probably raised by
Yup.
the wolves.
2 days without water or food. Like, you're 3 years old. You're not going hunting.
We see Tarzan.
Oh, bro.
In my head, that's why I would believe it. But the conspiracy, definitely, that's not him.
Yeah, it's not him. He found it with different clothes. How do you explain that? In my mind, there's no way this kid survived.
It looks like it changed him physically and mentally. What do you think?
Algerian boxer Iman Khalif, who previously failed testosterone and gender eligibility tests, has just won her opening match at the Olympics after her opponent quit in 46 seconds. After receiving just 2 punches, Italian Angela Carini put up her hands, broke down in tears, and abandoned the match, calling the situation unjust. Afterwards, Carini refused to shake Khalif's hand and fell to her knees crying. She told reporters that she had entered the ring to fight and honor her father, but she said she has never felt punches like those before. Carini explained, "After feeling the second punch with my years of experience, I decided to stop for my health. I didn't lose tonight, I just surrendered with maturity." Khalif is one of 2 boxers permitted to fight at the Olympics despite previously being disqualified. Last year, both fighters were disqualified from the 2023 Women's World Championships because they said that the DNA test had proved they had XY chromosomes. XY being the male chromosome and XX being the female one. As for the International Olympic Committee's official position on this, they said that both Khalif and Lin are women according to their passports, and that everyone in the tournament has passed the competition's eligibility rules. However, they have not confirmed specifically what those rules are. Those defending Khalif said that she is absolutely a woman and it's not her fault she has naturally high testosterone, and the Algerian Olympic Committee said it strongly condemns the unethical targeting of our esteemed athlete Iman Khalif with baseless propaganda from certain foreign media outlets. Khalif's opponent ended by saying, "I wish her to carry on until the end and that she can be happy. I am someone who does not judge anyone. I am not here to give judgments." The question is, do you think that Khalif should be allowed to compete or not?
If you think this is fair, put him against Anthony Joshua.
Humming can humming create nitric oxide in the body?
It absolutely can. What they discovered is that humming increases that NO production by 15-fold.
Not 15%.
15 times. I don't believe this. When I come to Stockholm, I want you to demonstrate that in front of me. And they did. They have devices that measure nitric oxide production in your nasal cavity, all kinds of sophisticated instrumentation. Did it with no humming. They did it with a little bit of humming. They did it with lots of humming. And sure enough, the more you hummed, the more nitric oxide you produce. And it went up to 20 times.
Define humming. Does it need to be in a certain tone for a certain duration?
You know, closing your mouth. Okay, I'm going to do it sort of on the air. And so when you make that humming sound, you are exhaling through your nose, right? But you're creating tremendous vibrations. It's the vibration that stimulates these special mucosal cells to make more nitric oxide. And the precise enzymatic mechanism, which I will not describe here, was worked out, and they published it. And it happens not only in humans, but it also happens, where did it happen? In cows that moo. They were able to measure the nitric oxide.
Excuse me. So cows aren't mooing, they're humming.
The mouth shut. And so I didn't know this. Noise is a part of it's coming out of the nose, the snout, is that what you call it? And part of it is coming out of the mouth. It's both. But it's the tremendous vibration in the face causes this increase in nitric oxide.
I've also heard humming being used and recommended for people to introduce a calmer state. I've heard that humming can stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps kind of activate more parasympathetic nervous system. So for high stress, high anxiety, panic attack.
I'm not too familiar with that, but yes, that makes good sense. And I can't practice yoga because I cannot move my limbs in those sorts of positions.
Oh, that's exactly why you
winding
should,
up in
Dr.
maybe I should try it. But anyway, there are all kinds of things I've been doing in yoga for hundreds of years.
Thousands.
And never knew anything about nitric oxide or humming. My wife does yoga, and at the end of each yoga class, she's going, that's a form of humming. Anything, right, that increases the vibration in the nose. But take advantage of that. If you're going to make all those sounds and have people turn around and look at you, as soon as you finish making the sound, inhale through your nose. You just made a ton of nitric oxide. Don't waste it. Make your humming sound and then breathe in. Breathe out through your nose. You're going to drive the nitric oxide out of your nose. But there's none in your mouth, so breathe out through your mouth.
So supplement, they could just hum inhale, mouth exhale.
Exactly. And hope the police don't come to the front door.
All right. So how many minutes a day do you need to hum? Also, how long will the nitric oxide last for? And who is humming while watching this?
This is Gulfstream's new $75 million G700, their newest private jet. Gulfstream invited me and pilot Shauna to go see their jet, and of course we said yeah. So we pull up to the event and we're making our way through. We're literally just here for one thing and one thing only, and we finally found it. The first thing we want to see is the cockpit. I'm used to like 1980s cockpits, and look at this. There's not a single button in this entire thing. Everything is touchscreen. And look at this. Their heads-up displays has night vision. You can see people and things on the runway that you can't see normally. On both sides, the pilot and the co-pilot side has one. So the cabin's separated into 4 zones, right? There's 6 seats where I'm standing. There's a couch right there in front of the TV, and then there's another 6 seats. And then behind that, there's a bedroom. That last set of 6 seats turns into an entire dining room. She's going to demonstrate it here and show us how it actually works. But this table alone probably costs more than my entire yearly salary. It's insane. $75 million for this jet. So when you guys get rich, make sure you invite me because I want to ride on it. Like just make sure you invite me because that would be pretty sick. 19 people can fit on this entire jet, and 6 of you can have dinner together right here. This door separates the rest of the cabin from the bedroom, which you're going to need because the range on this thing is absolutely insane. 7,700 miles. You can almost get to any 2 city pairings in the entire world. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to need one of these. I think you have the option to remove this bed and put even more seating. So I think the maximum seating is like 19 people if you just want to deck it out with enough seats to take all of your friends. And then there's a bathroom. This is the last part of the cabin. There's a whole bathroom. But not only that, there's a shower too. Like there's a shower in the G700. It's optional, obviously, but if you have all that space, why not put a shower in that thing? So the G700 is pretty cool. It's a new flagship of Gulfstream, and it's gonna be pretty cool to see this thing out in the wild, just doing its thing. I think Qatar Executive is gonna be the first customer to actually launch service here in a month or two, but it'll be pretty cool to see these things. See ya.
I almost bought one, but decided, to go with a 2017 Camry. Yo, what is that? Ew. So who's the cameraman?
This man shapeshifted into a dog on live television. Okay, check this out. This is when the transformation begins. Check this out. There's no way. There's no way. Look at this. It's a dog. What?
What? So let me know how you feel about this in the comment. Boom. What's this, a mama? Granite. Ooh. Ooh. We just broke into. That is cool and dangerous at the same time.
You hear about all this stuff happening in France, these giant protests of like the farmers and like going super well. And then the Olympics are coming to Paris, you know? Everyone in Paris is super ticked off about it. And then the president and I believe the mayor of Paris, they're like, what's the river that runs through Paris?
The Seine.
Like really polluted and stuff.
Yeah.
President Macron and the mayor, I believe, they're like, we're going to spend like $5 million cleaning the river before the Olympics. It's like, well, that's our tax money. And you've never even considered cleaning the river until the Olympics come. There's this hashtag going around that's like, we're going to poop in the Seine River. Before the Olympics, President Macron and the mayor are going to go swim in the river. We're going to get it so clean that we'll show you. We'll swim in the river. Protesters, they literally got porcelain toilets and set them up all along the river. Someone made an app. So if you don't live in Paris, all the rivers that connect, they say, if you poop in this part of the river at this time, it will make its way to this part of the river where they're going to swim at this time.
Dude, I love it.
Not 5 million, 1.5 billion.
You believe in God? Absolutely, I believe in God. But I'm gonna go further because everybody says God, God, God. I don't know who your God is. People say I thank God, but they could be thanking God and it's some demon. I believe in God,
That's
but
right.
specifically, I believe in the God of Israel, of Jesus, of the Holy Ghost, and the Trinity. You gotta blanket that with the blood. So I
Amen,
believe
amen.
in Jesus Christ, the Messiah. Absolutely.
And how important has faith been to the success of your career?
Faith is super important, right? In the Old Testament, you see the persona of God. And God is not just merciful, but he's ruthless. He says, in order to follow me, you have to have a fear of me. You have to have the fear of God. In order to have the fear of God, you have to acknowledge the wisdom of God. In order to acknowledge the wisdom of God, you have to acknowledge Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is the word that became flesh and is literally the reincarnation of the word of God on earth. And we as men should model ourselves after Jesus Christ and what he did. He is the ultimate Adam.
Brethren, you're absolutely right. Some people say that they believe in God, but you will actually didn't know what they mean.
Paris said, we love darkness. And God said, say no.
Say no more.
Right after the Paris Olympics Antichrist opening, where our Lord Jesus' Last Supper was mocked, Paris was hit with a massive, widespread power outage. But that's not even the craziest part. The church Sacré-Cœur was the only place not affected by this widespread power outage. As you can see here, this place of worship was fully lit for the entire world to witness and see that Jesus will not be mocked. If you know that God is sending a message here, subscribe now.
There was a warning.
I'm an American living in Germany that went on vacation in Poland for 1 week, and I got a story to tell. So me, my wife, daughter, in-laws, friend, and her mother went to Poland in this small town called Divisional for 1 week. Now this small town in Poland, we pull up and we get to our place that we're going to be staying for the week, and it's amazing. It was an amazing house, an amazing little resort close by the beach, beautiful city. But the city didn't match the people's vibes in Division. What I'm about to tell you guys about my experience there, it's not about all the people that were there, because we did get shown some love by certain people. Certain people recognized us, and besides those people, I never really felt welcomed there. And it was funny because when we posted that we were going to Poland, some people left comments saying, you need to get out of there. And I'm like, why? I've been to Poland before and never had any bad experiences. My wife, she still has family in Poland, and we've been there and we visited, and I didn't have any issues there. But I really can't say the same for this city of Division. It was like a surreal feeling. Like it was like I'm getting hot talking about it because I felt so uncomfortable there. So my first uncomfortable experiences when we got there, we settled in and we decided we wanted to go to one of the restaurants there. We get in there and the place is packed. And as soon as I walked through the door, it was like the music stopped. Everybody turned. Everybody's looking. Who is this guy? What is he doing in our town? Don't make this a tradition. You come here once, don't come back here again. Like some sort of alien, like they've never seen a person of color before. It was the weirdest feeling, and I've never felt small to people before. And I'm not a small guy. Like I'm 6 foot, 180 pounds. I'm not small. But the way they made me feel, I felt real tiny. And my wife could see it in my face that there was something wrong, and I told her, and she felt bad. So we never went back to that restaurant for the rest of the time that we were there. The rest of the time there, it's funny because I don't want to make eye contact with people. I already feel uncomfortable, so I'm just walking around and, there's a lot of people on the streets walking past each other back and forth, and all I get a lot of the times as they're walking by is... And there's no hiding it either. They'll do a full 180-degree turn and keep looking to see who I am and why am I here? To the point where day 3, I started doing the same thing. You want to turn and look? I'm going to turn and look too. And we're going to have a staring contest. I'm sorry. I'm going to win this one. I'm not here to start any trouble. I'm not here dressed like some type of thug or anything like that where you might feel uncomfortable around me. I'm with my wife and daughter trying to enjoy my time just like you. Another incident that happened, I think I forgot my phone back at the house that we were staying in, and I was like, let me go run back to the house, go grab my phone, come back. But as I'm coming back, there's 2 young kids. They're probably like, 18, 19 years old. As I'm walking back, I kind of turn, but I'm still looking at them because their reaction when they first see me, they stopped whatever they were doing to see what I was doing. And as I'm walking past them, I'm still seeing, and one of the boys was like, bah! And I kind of like hesitated, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me keep it moving. They're young kids. What do I look like getting into an altercation with some teenagers over little sounds that they made? But anyway, to make a long story short, never go to this town of Division if you're a person of color. I highly suggest you don't. I experienced it firsthand. You won't feel welcome. It'll be a very uncomfortable situation from my experience. If you want to go, that's on you. It's a beautiful city besides that, but the people don't match the city. All right. Peace.
I think that's the atmosphere of small towns. Everyone knows each other, and when someone new shows up, everyone stares. But let me know how you feel about this in the comments.
$13 billion is missing, and an Hermes heir's plan to pass on half of his fortune to his gardener has gone with it. 81-year-old Nicholas Puech was valued by Forbes in 2024 at $13.6 billion. Most of his wealth came from shares in Hermes, the fashion house founded by his ancestor Thierry Hermes. Puech was in the process of adopting his gardener and rearranging the benefactors of his estate when it became apparent the shares were missing. In a court case which concluded this month, Puech said he no longer owns the assets in question, and he's putting the blame on his former wealth manager Eric Freymond. A representative for Freymond says his client never handled the historic Hermes stock. An appeals court in Geneva threw out Puech's claims, but his lawyers told Fortune they were in the process of studying the criminal file in detail.
Some people didn't want the gardener to get those shares.
Where are we going? So they're gonna you can't finish that, man. Oh, you should get that. Get that U-Haul truck.
A heart attack like stroke doesn't just come up unexpectedly. You feel like crap for days, weeks, even months before it happened. Most people just think, walk it off, bro.
Why not Allah? Why not Buddha? Why not any of the other 30 million other Hindu gods? Why is it always Jesus? time and 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 time again. Folks, there comes a point where you have to admit the obvious. Why is it Christ that they specifically choose to mock? Isn't it obvious? Satan rules this world. Jesus says so. Friends, Satan is real, and he's running out of time. That's why this is everywhere you look. The blatant mockery and disrespect of our Savior is not by accident. Friends, there are only so many more times that Christ will be mocked before he says enough, before he comes back and pours out his judgment. And friends, I cannot stress this enough. You do not want to be here for that. Here's the thing. Jesus is not going to force a relationship with you, and he's not going to force you to accept him. But what he will do is warn you for what's to come. And I just hope and pray that you repent before he returns.
Amen. Because Jesus is real and the truth. The devil knows what's up. He doesn't worry about the others.
Do you understand the purpose of professional sports? It's a psychological anesthesia to lull you into a state of asleepness so that you do not feel the pain of them extracting all of the beauty from your future, why it exists. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just going to ask you the question. Does it make sense to be cheering for people who don't know you to win a game that doesn't matter and you can't pay your light bill? You can't educate your children the way you desire to. You can't take a family vacation, but you're jumping up and down because a full-grown man ran over another full-grown man over a pigskin filled with air. It doesn't make sense. You're broke and you're watching a movie. I want you to feel the pain of that statement. You're broke and watching a movie. You're watching people who are rich pretend to be people who don't exist to distract you from intention in your life, from making your family's life better for
This
generations.
is good.
And you're watching fake people live fake lives to create real feelings in you that anesthetize you from the fact that your life isn't working. It doesn't make sense. I like movies. Difference between me and you is I can afford to watch them now. And when I couldn't, I didn't. You don't understand. I was so hyper-focused on intention. I didn't listen to music. I didn't watch television. I didn't go to games. I didn't watch games. I didn't care who won if I was losing. Hyper-focus on intention instead of hyper-focusing on distraction. It'll change your life for the rest of your life. What's a distraction? Anything that doesn't move the needle in your favor.
He's speaking truth, folks. He's speaking truth.
As expected, Hezbollah has fired more rockets towards northern Israel. This again is going to bring more escalation. Now the question comes up, how will Israel respond? And in my personal opinion, from everything going on, I have a feeling that Israel is going to respond harshly against Hezbollah in Lebanon. But we will have to wait and see. There's a lot of speculation and theories that Israel may preemptively attack Iran before Iran can attack Israel, and I can totally see that happening right now. Israel is out for war, and I do not believe anybody is going to stop them. They are full steam ahead for full-blown conflict over there in the Middle East. This makes sense prophetically speaking when you go into Zechariah chapter 12 verse 2. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples when they lay siege against Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone. It sure seems like Jerusalem, Israel, is a heavy stone right now for all peoples. All who would heave it away will surely be cut in pieces, though all nations of the earth are gathered against it. We are literally witnessing this unfold right before our eyes. But with that, we keep our eyes focused upon Jesus, not conforming to this world, but being transformed by the renewing of our mind. I will continue to give these updates. If you guys enjoy them, let me know if you guys do. Right now, it is heating up big time, and I have no issue giving updates. I enjoy looking into the news and seeing everything unfold to then relay the information to you guys. But again, if you guys enjoy it, let me know. Love you guys all so much. God bless, and remember, the just shall live by faith.
Wars and rumors of wars taking place. Next is the abomination of desolation.
You have to put yourself on death ground. Death ground is extremely important. Death ground means it's from Sun Tzu. If an army is fighting with its back to the wall, it will fight with 3 times the force. It's either win or die. You have to feel that you only have 6 months to do it. You can't wait 2 years to start your business. You have to start it tomorrow. You can't take 2 years to fulfill it. You have to give yourself 6 months. You need that kind of energy and that desperation to be able to rise to the occasion.
We're seeing a massive rise in cases. The symptoms are odd. We don't have a specific name for it, but what we see is most or all of the following group of symptoms all coming at the same time. It's dizziness or vertigo, brain fog, fatigue, ringing or fullness in your ears. People are having cognitive issues like they can't focus, they can't, concentrate the way that they used to, and it's coming in combination with these unusual digestive issues. We've seen it a lot over the last couple years, and what we're seeing is the patient will have negative CT scans, MRIs, their blood work looks good, everything seems to indicate that they're healthy, but they're not feeling well, they're not feeling the way that they used to. This indicates oftentimes that the brainstem itself is involved. When you get these widespread symptoms that go all over the place, people end up going to all sorts of different doctors and they're looking at the end stage. But what if it's coming from a central location? Now, we can't help all cases, but in many instances, there are issues at the upper cervical spine with the cranial cervical junction. When it's out of alignment, it can affect the brainstem itself and the cranial nerves in turn. There's a dysfunction between the communication between the brain and the body parts. We also see blood flow issues, and we can see lymphatic issues where your brain cannot properly clear its waste products, which can lead to this whole cascade of different symptoms that we're seeing all across the world in many, many patients. It's oftentimes multifactorial. Many of these patients may have an underlying issue, they may have an autoimmune problem, and we can't always get to that. We can oftentimes make their symptoms feel better. Many of them, when we correct the upper cervical spine with the orthospinology protocol, they're going to feel much better. Some of them completely resolve.
Ooh.
So each case is a little bit different, but if you've been feeling this way, if you're interested in what we do, feel free to reach out. We're in Atlanta. We have patients that come from all over the world to see us. Leave us a comment below if you would like more information to see if it's something that we might be able to help you with.
I really think a lot is due to phones, keeping our heads down, looking at the phones, 5G, etc.
This video before it's removed from the internet.
I grew up on a farm, a beef farm in Missouri, about 80 miles west of St. Louis. And like everybody else that raises livestock, we raise a lot of our own feed, corn and soybeans and hay. And we grind this up into a flour, and we'd add vitamins and minerals and trace minerals to this. We'd make pellets or cake out of it and feed those calves for about 6 to 9 months before we'd ship them off. And the thing that fascinated me as a teenager was the fact that we ate out of those very same fields. We had a garden at the end of the field. We grew peas and beans and squash and peppers and whatnot. We wanted to live to be 100 with no aches and pains, and we didn't do the same thing for ourselves that we did for those calves. And as a teenager, this was very fascinating for me. And I always used to ask my dad, I'd say, hey, Pops, how come we go to all that trouble for those calves? We grind up their feed, add vitamins and minerals and trace minerals, and feed them for 6 to 9 months, knock them in the head and eat them. And we, out of those very same fields, don't do that for ourselves. And of course, being a Missouri farmer, he'd give me a lot of Missouri farm wisdom. He'd say things like, shut up, boy. Don't ask complicated questions. So I was glad when I got rid of that farm exercise and went to the University of Missouri and got into ag school. My major was in animal husbandry and nutrition. My minor was in field crops and soils. As a veterinary student, what I learned was the reason we put vitamins and minerals and trace minerals into animal feeds is because we don't have insurance for them. We don't have Blue Cross, Blue Shield, major medical hospitalization. We don't have Medicare, Medicaid, or a Hillary to watch out for them.
Hillary.
And as a result, if we were to use a human healthcare type of system for livestock, it'd be a real sticker shock for most people. Because of the veterinary care, the hamburger would cost $275 a pound, and boneless, skinless chicken breasts would be $450 a pound. The National Institutes of Health had given him $7.5 million to study pollution in the mid-'60s. This is when we first recognized that there was pollution in our air and our water and our food, and nobody quite knew what that meant over a long period of time. I had to do autopsies of animals that died of natural causes in the big zoos around the United States, and I was to look for a species of animals that was ultra-sensitive to pollution. And we were going to use that species of animals much like the old coal miners used to use a canary. They take the canary down the mine, and the canary would act as an early warning system if methane gas or carbon monoxide would leak out into the mine. We're going to take these animals and put them in little strategic spots all around the world and pay attention to them. And if they started dying, we knew we were in danger. Well, to make a long story short, after some 12 years working at the St. Louis Zoo and the Brookfield Zoo in Chicago, the Bronx Zoo in New York, the National Zoo in D.C., the L.A. Zoo, and many other big ones throughout the United States, I'd done some 17,500 autopsies in over 454 species of animals, plus 3,000 human beings who lived in close proximity to the zoos for a comparison. And what I learned was pretty frightening. Every one of those animals and every one of the people who died of natural causes died of a nutritional deficiency disease.
Ooh.
And I couldn't get anybody excited about those findings because we had just put men on the moon. We had a high-tech Cold War going on with the Soviets. And so talking about nutritional deficiency diseases 30, 35 years ago in America was pretty low on everybody's totem pole. But I knew it was important, so I got frustrated enough. I went back to school for 4 years up in Portland, Oregon, became a physician, and I practiced for 12 years in a general family practice. The human being has the genetic capacity, the capability of living healthily to be 120 to 140, and I'm going to prove that to you in a second. When the World Health Organization kind of looked at the top 32 industrialized nations on Earth and said, how long do these people live? Who lives the longest? We ranked 17th in longevity. There's actually 16 other countries whose peoples who live longer than we did. These are industrialized nations now. Then we ranked 19th in healthfulness. That means there was 18 other countries whose peoples live longer than we do before they develop diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, osteoporosis, and so forth. We ranked 23rd in live births and first year survivability of our... Now, just very briefly, these cultures include the mountain tribes of Tibetans, and these people were made famous in 1933 at the death of a fellow by the name of Wu Li, and he was born in 1677. And if you're quick with numbers, you'll notice that he died at age 256, and when he was 106, the Chinese imperial government began publishing his birth dates and birthday parties every year for 150 years. When he died, his obituary was in every newspaper in the world because he'd been tracked for many, many years and everybody knew him. And a year after he died, a Pulitzer Prize-winning book was published for which his life was the inspiration for this book. It was called Lost Horizon. And many of you will recall that story in that book. It talked about the Valley of Shangri-La, where people could live to be over 200. Eastern Pakistan, the Hunzas are legendary for living healthily to be over 120. And then during the 1970s, Dannon yogurt made the Russian Georgians famous. Some of you remember that ad. Prior to this ad, nobody could spell yogurt in America, and afterwards, of course, everybody wanted it. This is where a 140-year-old guy from Russian Georgia wore all his medals, held up a big saber in one hand and had a cup of Dannon yogurt in the other hand, smiled a lot and waved it around. You're supposed to believe that it was Dannon yogurt that made him live to be 140. It was a very impressive ad because he had his son standing next to him who was 120, and his grandson who was 100, and his great-grandson who was 80, and so forth. So it was a very believable ad. Then after the breakup of the Soviet Union a few years ago, we began learning about other cultures in that same mountain range, the Caucasus Mountains, the Azerbaijanis, Abkhazians, Turkestanis, and the Russians studied all of these people for some 70 years and literally wrote thousands of scientific papers.
Dr. Wallace is right on target. Organic foods are our future. Remineralize our soil and grow healthy foods. No more poisoning with pesticides or fertilizer with fake synthetic minerals. No more GMO crap.
Abduction attempt took place at a bus stop while a 16-year-old girl was waiting to be picked up by the bus to go to school. A surveillance video captured a man parking his vehicle and approaching the girl. He forcibly took her phone and grappled her in an attempt to drag her to his car while she clung desperately to a nearby fence, resisting his efforts. In an effort to lure her, the man held out her phone only to throw it at her when he realized she could not be subdued. The girl managed to escape by running onto the bus as the assailant fled in a white Ford Mustang. A witness provided a description of both the vehicle and the suspect, which later led to police locating the car at a gas station a few hours after the incident.
Oh, good job.
Yeah. Alright. We'll talk to you in a second. Someone's going to come and talk to you here and explain everything's going on. You got an ID? Alright. You put your ID out, my man?
Hey, ID, sir?
Well, someone's going to come talk to you.
I'm going to jail?
No.
Got your ID on? Huh?
No.
Oh, okay.
You'd be out of the car in handcuffs right now if you were, my man.
Oh my God. The man walking by should be ashamed. Thank God that the girl was brave.
Difference between humans and angels. Watch.
You know the difference between us and angels? One thing. Angels, God created them externally.
Yes, yes.
Us humans, God created us internally.
Yes.
That's why they are servants. We are the sons.
Wow, yeah, yep.
The most powerful angel, the archangel Michael, he comes, he must salute me.
Wow.
I am the weakest of all. I'm nothing but a piece of dust.
Yes.
Archangel Michael, he only needs to blink his eye, he can wipe the whole world.
Wow.
Not just me, the whole world with me. Yet the most powerful, the holy angel of God, cannot dare to look into my face. He needs to bow and salute me. Why? Because I descend from the royal family. I am the son of his master.
Yes, the Bible says we are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God. You are special. Don't give up on God.
We are the children of God, and the angels work for God.
One of my top viewed videos is 10 things to remove from your house, and one of them was like soul tie objects. And I talked about like how in grief they hoard and harbor all these objects, and every single time they see those objects it reinforces the grief. And biblically, grief should be a season, not a cycle.
Wow.
So we should mourn.
Yeah.
There's a season of mourning. Like when your grandmother died, like the most appropriate thing to do is mourn, lament. But that should be a season, not a cycle.
Amen.
When Moses died, it was like, yes, all of Israel's going to go into a time of mourning. But then Joshua said, all right, everybody, wash your face now. We've cried, we've mourned. Wash your face, for tomorrow we go in.
Amen.
How can you put the time limit on mourning and grief? I lost my dad a year ago, and I'm still mourning.
We now have the invention of the left-handed Mobius coil, which can cancel out excessive radiation, especially those of magnetic character. He didn't say just electric field, he said low-level radiation. There is something about a metallic Mobius that's one to the left, and it's the simplest thing in the world to make. You can make it out of a piece of audio videotape. Left-hand Mobius is a left-hand spin. All you have to do is bend it over left. It's a figure 8 with the left. A left-handed Mobius is the easiest thing in the world to make. If you draw a line with a pencil over a piece of paper, you can see it. I like to start with a good piece of tape. There's something good on it. Fibonacci numbered music is the classical music. You pull it up this way, and you put it up here, and you turn it to the left, and you turn it a half a degree. And you've got when you got it a half a turn, you've got, this is what you got. You've got a figure 8. It's like an 8. See? That's the Mobius. Now, if you draw a line over the top of this, it goes around here, around here, around here, around here, around here. In other words, it's an antenna that has no end. It's like pi. There's no end to it. There's no end. There's no top, no bottom. It's all top, and it's all bottom. I've got the thing miniaturized down to the size of a dime. I'm playing with about a half a dozen different energies. Some of them I can measure. And I even put Ralph's plates in the back of them, and I put a long given pile on them and stick the whole thing. Now you can put that behind a TV. You can put it behind my wife and all the people where they work at down there, have them on their computers. And they seem to think that there's a difference, and that's enough for me.
And Hannah Kroger was making these 20 years ago and hanging them everywhere. And she used to tell us, take them and put them around your trees, your bed, put them everywhere. And I never understood it until you just said it's the unfixed air that makes the difference. Around the Mobius coil, I never knew it until now. 20 years I was making them, and I didn't even know what they did. But I knew I could have a sick plant. I could put a Mobius coil on it made out of even just ribbon from the dime store. And that plant would perk up, and you didn't even have to water it.
But Mobius has to have some conductivity.
She
the
never
best
told us that.
conductivity in the world is the same recording instrument that you're making your audio videotape. It's got light in it. It's got color in it.
Now we
It's
know.
got sound in it.
Right. Now we know the whole story. That is so cool.
No, it's not the
Thank
whole
you.
story. I'm sure as hell I'll find some more tomorrow.
Data or VHS tapes? Which kind?
What?
What kind of tapes?
I just get any good tape, but I do want it recorded with good music on it. I tried some of the rock and roll stuff, and maybe it's my mind that's doing it to the plant, but it didn't do them much good. Two plants of equal deal, put one Mobius on one and leave the other one alone. Watch the difference in growth. All the classical music's new with the Fibonacci numbers, and the Fibonacci numbers is the way they made the music. It's the golden sector.
You're saying take the tape that has a classical record music on it, although nobody's going to hear it, right? But that's the tape that you're using to make the Mobius coil?
Do you think that we hear and see everything?
No.
We see about that much of a spectrum that's caused outside of this room. It's been said that we use 10% of our brain. I don't think we use 1/10 of 10%. A lot of people, I wonder if they've even got one. But it's scary. You can run it on the internet, and there'll be about 10 pages come out on it, and they'll tell you who invented it and but they won't tell you what it does. Mobius is an endless circle. It's an endless circle. It turns, when you turn it one way, it's got no top and bottom, but it is all top and bottom. It's an antenna when you put it out of metal, and the antenna receives energy, it blocks energy. An incoming call comes in from a cell phone. The waves come in almost like needles. They're very sharp. They're penetrating. When they hit the Mobius and they hit the gold and they hit the little plate with the dissimilar metals, these things curl and they become little balls and they just bounce around. They don't penetrate in your head. I told you what I said to Mr. Bailey at Motorola. I told him, I said, these chicken eggs will not hatch when you expose them to a few minutes of telephone call, an income or outcome. Peacock eggs won't hatch. I got another 12 of them over here. I exposed to no telephones, and next thing you know, they hatch. I got little peacocks. But Joe, we don't sell many cell phones to peacocks.
Wow, so much knowledge we don't know.
2 days after I had my vision of Jesus Christ, my father called me, and Dad spoke to me on the phone, and at that point I knew I wanted to belong to Jesus. I wanted to walk away from everything, and He is my Lord.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I spoke to my dad on the phone, and I was really, really scared. I didn't know how to word it. I didn't know how to tell him, and without him getting really angry at me. So I didn't know even what they do at church. I didn't know much about Christianity. All I said to my dad was, Dad, I went to church because it's Easter and because I wanted to give chocolate, because I assumed that people would give chocolate. It's Easter. And my dad is very, very smart. He said to me, listen, darling, I know you've become Christian. It's okay. I love you. No matter what you do, you're my daughter. And I love you with all my heart, and I'll support you all the way. And then he sobbed. He was crying on the phone. And he said to me, I just want to see you, my sweetheart. Please, come over my place. Let's catch up. I want to see you. I want to hug you. And my heart broke. And I said to him, okay, Dad, I will come and see you soon. And as I hung up on the phone with my dad, I had the same powerful being that's trying to stop me from going. It's like a hand on my chest telling me, stop, don't go. And I didn't know whether it was from God or whether it was something else. I didn't know what it was.
The Holy
But it was so powerful. It's like someone saying to me, don't go. And I went on my knees and I cried. I said to him, Jesus, I call on your name. Please tell me, is this from you? Are you saying to me, don't go? Are you warning me? Or is it just my own thoughts, or is it something else? Please tell me. That night, I had a dream. I saw my mum's funeral. I saw that my mum's going to die. And then I saw my dad paying someone to bury me. When I woke up the next morning, I thought I was just hallucinating. And I get ready to go to work. And just before I get to the office, I got a text message. Mum passed away. And then 2 days later, the police come to my place and they immediately take me to the police station and say to me, there's no allegations. Your father possibly paid someone to kill you. You need to come and get you right now. So they come and take me to the police station, and they showed me the statements, how my dad planned to kill him, and it's exactly matching my dream. So I go home, and that was God showing me, will I forgive? He's teaching me how to forgive. It was so hard. It was so heartbreaking to know that your own dad would do something like that. And I cried and I said, Jesus, I just want to ask you for a favor. I don't care if you're going to kill me because I believe in you. I don't care because I know you are the real deal. And I know how much you love me. I just want to ask you for a favor. Can you please change? Can you please change? Way that they want to kill me. Can you give me a peaceful death? Can you give me something else? I don't mind dying. I don't mind with a bullet in my head. I don't mind whether I get run by a car, just not being beheaded. Please, Lord. That's all I ask of you. And Jesus answered me. He said, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, and he will deliver you. And there that night, I had to make a choice. Either sit there and be really scared and run away, or believe with all my heart that Jesus Christ is the Almighty Lord and he can save me and can protect me. My family was living 20 minutes away from me, and I had to make that choice there. And I made a decision that I will stay where I am, and I'm not fearing them. I will not fear death, because Jesus says, I will protect you. And he did. Months went by, and years, and no one dares to come near me. And this is something I've struggled with for so long. It was the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. It always made no sense to me. How could God die for you? God doesn't die. How could he die for you? And it was there, God showed me how. At that moment where I see my own father paying someone to kill me, then I believed that Jesus died for me. Because my real father died for me. He's not the one that's trying to kill me. I can't thank God enough for everything he's done for me. No matter what I do, I can't thank him enough for what he's done. He taught me something. He taught me how to trust in him. And if you really, really trust in God, you are pleasing him. And no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter how bad you've done in the past, the moment you call on Jesus Christ, he's there. And he doesn't care about how bad, how much sins you've had or how bad or what kind of person you are. The moment you turn to him and say, Jesus, help me, he is faithful and he will help you.
What a powerful testimony. Thank you so much. I serve a living God.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people from my last video saying that nothing's coming, nothing's gonna happen, I'm paranoid, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna tell you like this. This is where I'm working, okay? I'll read that. That's where I'm working right now. The man who owns that company, I'll say Sheelon Tuss.
Sheelon Tuss.
Y'all know Sheelon Tuss. Find the rhyme, the rhythm. He has us working 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week. I'm an electrician. I wire up all the machinery that they're using to build the trucks. I'm wiring up all the machinery that they are using to build these robots, okay? We are working 12 hours, 7 days a week. I have worked for TikTok. I have worked for Amazon. I have worked for Samsung. I have worked for Fortune 500 companies all year. Nobody is pushing their people like this, okay? 12-hour shifts. He is trying to complete this for something. I promise you, bro, soon as these robots go online, it will kill 80% of the job force. All you people driving trucks in restaurants who don't think this can happen in Japan, they already have robots serving tables. They already have nurses that are being robotically projected from monitors to help patients. Your job is not safe, okay? 80% of the workforce will be killed by these robots. As soon as he puts these AIs inside of these robots, I promise you, bro, they will think, be smarter, faster, and they do not need to sleep, bro. We call in. I called in 3 days ago because I worked 6 days straight. Robots don't do that, and that's what they are pushing for, bro. Have you sitting at home with the real ID, with your Fed Now money, taking free governmental universal income, slave, bro. Victim to the system, bro. They do not want you out here moving how you want. They do not want you collecting resources. They don't want you to do anything without their knowledge, bro. They want to track every transaction. They want to track your whereabouts. They want to know what you're thinking, bro. And all they want to do is monetize and commercialize that. It's that mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is taking things that should not be for money or for sale and making them for sale, like your soul, love, things of that nature, bro. And y'all say that it's not coming, bro. It's right around the corner. I promise you, bro, this is coming. Where I'm working right now has proven that. This man sends drones on the top of the buildings, drones inside the building to count how many people are working at all times. This is not a game, bro. I'm telling you, this is just his company, bro. Imagine what they're doing. Like, Facebook, all these companies are together. They're acting like they're competitors. They're not. They all have one agenda, bro. And each of them are doing their part. I promise you. I need y'all to really think about this, bro. They're building bulletproof trucks with robots. I don't know if you've seen it, but look it up. Recently, a guy just got pulled over in Dubai by a Cybertruck police, and it had a robot in it, and the robot gave him a ticket for using his phone and not being buckled up. And they sent the fine to his phone. I promise you, bro, these cars are not for normal civilians. You do not make bulletproof trucks for civilians. He is going to supply and fleet out the military and the police force, bro. We will not be able to run and hide. They've already stopped making V8 engines in trucks, and the Chargers. There are no more Hellcats or Hemis being produced. They're all V6s. We will not be able to escape this shit, bro. I promise you, bro, these robots are gonna take your job. They're going to be police forced. They're going to be the new revolution, bro. And we're gonna be on our asses like Idiocracy. I promise.
All right, bro. Hey, when I first watched Idiocracy, I just felt it in my soul that we would be living that in the near future. And here we are. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This way you go.
Man, look at that. He doesn't care.
Sol taraf diyor.
You know, the bear completely trusts this man with his life, and the other way around. It was as if the bear knew, this man was going to help him.
Don't focus on making people like you because you can do everything right and people may still just not like you. Instead, focus on how about I'm going to be competent in what I do. When I say I'm going to do something, I follow through. When I say I can do something, I actually can do it. When I say I'm going to be there at 9, I'm there at 8:55. In the U.S. Secret Service, we had a saying, if you're on time, you're late. So I show you that I'm competent. When you see that, are you going to like me for that? Yes, you are.
I'll respect you.
Now, there's warmth. Warmth is the other element here. Warmth is, I show you respect. So instead of me trying to get you to like me, how about I just show you respect?
What does that look like in reality, showing someone respect? Is that, again, the timekeeping?
I'm listening to you. I show up on time. I follow through with what I say I'm going to do. I'm also open and approachable. I'm also non-judgmental. That's a big thing. Everybody's kind of like throwing their weight around. Let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you what I think. Nobody needs to know what you think. It doesn't matter. If you're really trying to build a connection with a person, then build it and let them tell you what they think. Because now I see the world through your lens, not mine.
I genuinely enjoy, the way she articulates her thought process. She is solid. This is like 2 hours away from my mother lives. It's a camp hotel. They also have awesome food. It costs like, I think, $20 a night. Would you rent it there?
Ever been to a white barbecue? You can only use the downstairs bathroom. In that bathroom, the sum of the decor is going to be seashells, and more seashells. She's going to say, just bring yourself. That's good enough. No, you go to the supermarket and get some cheap $5 wine. She's going to have some baked clams in the oven when you get there. I'm going to try to pronounce it. Cheese on the board. The conversation is going to be coworkers you hate and how J-Lo can't keep a man. They're going to have communion pictures and the precious moment they got for that communion. They're going to make some antipasta. You're going to have bread rolls. And those good plastic plates. Not that cheap stuff you used to. You think is they real plates. And the gold plastic ones. Not that Chinese store stuff. They always have a hard time finding the butter knife. They're gonna have some tiki torches. And they're gonna bathe themselves in off at some point. Now the husband is gonna have cargo shorts, these sneakers, offer you a beer, try to talk to you about sports, but he only wants to talk about politics. Oh, you're from New York City, that mayor. Why, he blows into a water wing and barbecues at the same time. Taurus, if you want to go into Brooklyn, it's Williamsburg, Dumbo, and Red Hook. If you end up in East New York, you will be part of a television series. Dumbo is overrated. Go to Red Hook and do Brooklyn Crab or Hometown Barbecue. Now, Williamsburg, a bunch of weirdos and hipsters. All around this weird stuff. Coney Island is cool. You gotta go in that water fully closed. Because all you're gonna see is diapers and this. And the train goes right there. Barclays Center got cheaper concerts than Madison Square Garden. The rest of Brooklyn, I don't get. Especially Bushwick. Like, you got a new building, that's the projects, high-end coffee shops, next to Popeyes, and a bodega. Bushwick is weird to me. But Brooklyn got the most people by far, 2.5 million, and would be the fourth biggest populated city in America if it was just alone. And this has been happening the whole time in Brooklyn. They took over Park Slope, and they continue to take over more with all these new buildings. Brooklyn has changed a lot.
The LAPD just put these on every single car in my neighborhood. Like, look out for what? The Dementor with sneakers. What is that? How's that helpful?
Looks like.
What are we looking
looks
for?
Looks like Bigfoot with sneakers.
Come in here. Come. No, where are you going? Come inside. Come. Welcome, welcome. Best quality in all of Istanbul. Best quality here. Go somewhere else. Bring it back. Better quality, I give it for free. Here, this for you. 200 lira and 100 lira. This is very normal in Turkey. This, 2 colors. Very special. Nowhere else in Istanbul. 1,000 lira. Come. 500 lira? No. 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 Go away. Tamam. Where are you going? Come. I give you a good price. Come.
This happen lots of countries. Treat it as game and you'll be fine. Maybe you'll buy something, maybe you won't, but you will, like have fun in the process. If you really are busy, then ignore and keep going.
I hate verbs in English. I dance, you dance, he dances. Why? Is he dancing more than me? I don't think so. 645 people dance and he dances. How much is this motherfucker dancing?
I learned English from watching American, especially Godfather, the sequel, and Gladiator, to name a few. And I think I can still recite the line back to back from start to finish because I must watch them at least 1,000 times. No exaggeration. All right, folks. Thank you for staying till the end. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to like or dislike so I can make a better content. There's a free gift below. And if you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are in the description below. Have a prosperous day and God bless.